So first of all, let me do my official tag. So it's thebestdrummerintheworld.com. We're here with Creighton Barrett of...
I'm not the best drummer. Band of Horses.
But my site is.
Yes,
so
well, that's all that matters.
You become the best drummer. When you hang with the website, you get...
That's great.
I like knight you.
Yeah, don't have to
best
work
drummer in the
hard
world.
for it.
No.
That's great.
No.
Awesome.
No, man. Anyways, with the unbelievably amazing Band of Horses. The amazing Band of Horses.
It was...
So you guys took... So tell me... So now... Let's just talk about you weren't on the first record, right? You picked up on the first tour.
Yes.
How'd you get the gig?
I met Ben when we were 19 in South Carolina. We played in punk bands together.
Oh.
So then he moved out to the Northwest, and I told him when he left, I was serious about playing music, and I was like, you know, if you get out there and you establish yourself, you know, please call me and bring me out there. And I never, you know, really didn't think it was going to happen. I was kind of just ended up playing by myself, so I couldn't find kids that were similar styles.
Yeah.
And 2 years went by, and he called me. He's like, I know a shit ton of drummers in Seattle, or bands in Seattle need drummers.
Yeah.
And so I moved out there, and at one point I was in like 4 different bands at one time. So I was actually on the road when we were trying to finish the first record in the studio, and the rhythm section, I don't know really what happened, but something went down. Yeah. And Ben called me and I was on the road. He's like, hey, fuck, I didn't know you were on tour because I wanted to see if you come in the studio and help me finish the tracks. And I was like, fuck. Because at that time, they were already such a buzz. And they were great. You know, Ben's one of my best friends. Nice. He just started learning how to play guitar and wrote that record. Right. So it was just like mind-blowing. And there was such a breath of fresh air in the music scene. Because I grew up predominantly a metal, punk drummer kind of guy. And even though I'd never tried anything like he was playing, that band sounded, really wanted to do the project and jump in it. And lucky enough, I got back from tour, and the tour for Band of Horses was really about, like, the big tour was about to start. And he was like, all right, you know, still get a chance to try out, you know. So I went in there, and you know, obviously being friends had a lot to do with it, but you know, quickly went in there, learned what I could off the CD, and ever since then, I've been allowed to be in the group.
You say that you're so punk and metal background.
Oh, I thought I was at least.
Well, you know,
who knows?
Fuck, all you need is a mirror.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You can like be in a fucking
for sure. Yeah.
The moves, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to me, like, that was the early part of my drumming. You know, was listening to bands like that because it was so much more like, I wouldn't say not as technical as jazz, but it was kind of, you were allowed to be crazy without really having to slow down, or, you know, I mean, you just like do mass rolls, and like that worked for that, you know. So when it came down to learning how to play the Band of Horses songs off the first record, and still to this day, you know, the mid-tempo range was the hardest thing I ever tried, you know.
Really?
It's just, you know, you're driving the bus so much, and speeding up can just fuck everybody else up so bad.
Sure.
That, like, and then of course I, you know, still speed up because I'm just that kind of drummer. But it was really hard just to bring it down and be like, you still have to slow it down, man. You still gotta, you know, like. So, you know, I tend to get amped and just like,
yeah,
you know.
Northwest Apartment goes off the charts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it seems like on tracks like Laredo and Northwest Apartment, you've got a real passion. There, like, to me, that it feels like there's a powerful drummer behind that. Right. So that makes sense. But what is cool to me is the other, you know, everything else on the album, which, well, I mean, the first, you know, Factory and Compliments are some more rockers, but you know, the beautiful pieces are, there's a really great aesthetic that you captured that's not pounding. It's like, how did you change gears from, so now I'm even more interested, how do you change gears from being a, like, kind of basher dude to really like a texture, it's almost like a textural
stuff. Well, that's cool that you pick up on that. I mean, it was a culmination of everything, you know, especially on this record. We knew there was a lot of songs that were more blissed out, and just more atmospheric. And my job in this band has always been to not overplay, and it's always been, you have to do, I mean, personally telling myself, you have to do what the song asks for itself, you know, like, you know, you could put a tom fill, you could put a tom beat into anything, you know, but it's like not necessarily needs to be there, or not that the song's even asking for it to be there. So this song, you know, this band has always been really good about that, and, you know, not in a negative way, but like, I'm like, well, how about this? And be like, yeah, well, let's just break that down a little bit more, you know, and stuff like that. So when it came to like Infinite Arms, you know, and Life on Earth track and stuff like that, it was just like, just a pillowy feel, you know, and so it's just like, you know, turn the snare off or something,
right.
Just try something a little bit more like world beat sounding or something like that. So it was, I mean, it's I wouldn't say easy, but when these songs, when you approach these songs, when they're written by these talented guys that are in this band,
oh my god,
it not as hard as you would think for that kind of stuff to just come out naturally. It's just like, you know, the parameters, you're not going to overplay it, and if you don't overplay it, then there's this small space in order to make the drums still be drums within the song, and not like this thing that doesn't need to be there. You know,
right.
There's so many songs I felt, you know, on the new record, I was like, I kind of stepped back on a few of them. I'm like, I don't even know if this needs drums. You know, like a lot of stuff this doesn't, or a lot of songs that did have drums,
right.
Ended up not having drums. You know, on some of the songs, stuff like that, like Tyler's Eating Kitchen and stuff like that. But